Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, with only 1 month remaining in the lame duck session, Congress is hoping to make some big moves before the new Congress takes over in January. And police have identified the man they say catfished a California teen before killing her family and kidnapping her. Until last month, investigators say he had been working as a Virginia state trooper.
Plus, we are dry this evening, but our next weather system is right around the corner. Those details coming up as Mountain News at 5:30 starts right now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Congress has been out of session for more than a month while members went home for the elections and Thanksgiving. But it's back to work today, and there's a lot left to do in the lame duck session before a new Congress is convened in January. CBS's Skylar Henry has more from Capitol Hill.
The Senate is debating the Respect for Marriage Act, a bill that provides federal protections for same-sex marriages. That may be in question if the Supreme Court revisits previous rulings.
For all the progress, though, we've made on same-sex marriage, the rights of all married couples will never truly be safe without the proper protections under federal law.
This is just one of several bills Democrats are hoping to push through before Republicans take control of the House in January.
Prices have soared by 13.9% since President Biden put his hand on the Bible. Thanks to his party's reckless spending, inflation is the highest it's been since the fallout of the Carter administration.
Congress also needs to pass the Defense Authorization Act to fund the military, as well as a new spending bill to avoid a government shutdown December 16th. While time is running out for legislative accomplishments, the clock is also ticking on the investigation into the January 6th assault on the U.S. Capitol. Former presidential aide Kellyanne Conway testified before the January 6th committee Monday morning. The committee needs to issue its final report, expected to be 1,000 pages or more.
We certainly don't want the Jim Jordans of the world to cherry pick anything not disclosed and make a false or misleading narrative out of it.
Meanwhile, Republicans are gearing up for their own investigations when they take control.
We're going to investigate between 40 and 50 different things. We have the capacity. We'll have 25 members on the committee, and we're going to have a staff close to 70. So we have the ability to investigate a lot of things.
The Republicans have already announced planned investigations into President Biden and his son Hunter. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
House investigators will also get former President Donald Trump's taxes this week after the Supreme Court allowed them access to the documents. They will have 4 weeks to review them before Republicans say they'll put an end to that investigation.
A busy week of weather is on tap across the mountains. Gloomy weather continues into the evening, and rain chances are not too far away. Let's go over to I-64. This is in Rowan County at Moorhead. Notice we are dry, but we are under a cloudy sky right now. Current temperature 46 degrees over at Moorhead, 45 in Pikeville, 47 in Jackson, and 50 for Somerset and Monticello. Many people struggling to make it out of the 40s this afternoon. Up on satellite and radar, most of us are quiet under a cloudy sky, but those changes are right around the corner. We're talking about rain chances by Tuesday night and into your Wednesday. Severe weather off to the south. No severe weather issues here, but we are tracking some showers by tomorrow night and into your Wednesday, and also some breezy conditions as well. We're talking winds up to 25 to 30 miles per hour, and temperatures take a tumble into Thursday, and then we rebound into Friday back in the 50s. So we have a lot to talk about in Maine weather, and we'll talk about it in just a little bit. Steve.
All right, Cameron, thank you. Police in Riverside, California have identified the man they say catfished a California teenager before killing 3 members of her family and then driving away with her. CBS's Nichelle Medina has the story.
Neighbors and loved ones held a vigil over the weekend for Mark and Sherry Winnick and their daughter Brooke. All of them killed the day after Thanksgiving inside their Riverside, California home. Bonnie Davis was their neighbor for 22 years.
I just want everybody to know how loving they were. They don't deserve this.
Police say 28-year-old Austin Lee Edwards shot them, set their house on fire, and then left with Brooke Winnick's 15-year-old daughter. Police say the teenager met Edwards online.
This guy's a monster. He's a predator. We do believe he was portraying himself to be a teenager.
Police say until last month, Edwards was a Virginia state trooper. He drove across the country to the teenager's home.
We're still trying to figure out, was she coerced or forced to leave with him?
Police located the two later that day, nearly 200 miles away, and killed Edwards in a shootout. The teenager was taken into protective custody.
We've got a teenager here who is still very vulnerable, and this will be a long-lasting tragedy in her life.
Police say they have interviewed the 15-year-old and are combing through digital evidence to determine if Edwards was communicating with any other teenagers. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Just days before the murders, Edwards had started a new job with the Washington County Sheriff's Department in Virginia. The man accused of killing 10 black shoppers and workers at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York, has pleaded guilty to murder and hate-motivated terrorism charges. Peyton Gendron entered that plea this morning. The charges carry an automatic sentence of life in prison. The 19-year-old used a legally purchased semi-automatic rifle to gun down victims at the Tops Friendly Market in May. In posts written online, he said his goal was to terrify black people and preserve white power.
Our client pled guilty to every count of the indictment, with the full knowledge that he will spend the rest of his life in prison with no chance of parole. Though the federal case continues, his actions today ensure that there will be no state court trial and he will not appeal. This critical step represents a condemnation.
Gendron has pleaded not guilty to separate federal hate crime charges. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, this time of year, costs can quickly add up and leave you in a financial bind. We have expert advice on what to do if you need to take out an emergency loan.
Plus, we are tracking our next rain chance by Tuesday night and into Wednesday. All those details coming up right after this.